Good day, everyone. I am Altayami Albora Iglesia, 20 years old, and I'm from the city of majestic waterfalls, Iligan City. I am currently studying at MSU Main Campus Marawi and taking BA Philippine and Asian History track. So, this documentaries is all about Noli Tangere and El Filibusterismo. These two novels are authored by Dr. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado e Alonso Rialonda. He is the national hero of the Philippines and the first Asian nationalist. And he was born in Calamba, Laguna on June 18, 1861, to a well-to-do family. He studied at the Jesuit Ateneo Municipal in Manila and won many literary honors and prizes. He also obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree with highest honors in 1877. For a time, he studied at the University of Santo Tomas in 1882. He left for Spain to enter the Central University of Madrid, where he completed his medical and humanistic studies. He was a Filipino polymath, nationalist, and the most prominent advocate for reforms in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial era. He is considered the Philippines' national hero, and the anniversary of Rizal's death commemorated as a Philippine holiday called Rizal Day. Rizal's 1896 military trial and execution made him a martyr of the Philippine Revolution. The summary or analysis of Nolimitangere and El Filibusterismo. Nolimitangere, literally translated, the Latin words Nolimitangere means touch me not, taken from the John 20 verse 17 when Mary Magdalene holds on to Jesus and he tells her not to touch him. John 20 verse 17, Jesus said to her, "Stop clinging to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, but be on your way to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and to your Father, and to my God and your God." The Nalimutanghire is a similar theme of longing and of fulfillment. There is no more tragic love, and of course no greater love than the two begins and able to reach each other. Since such love eternally remains unblemished, it is persistently unmasked contemporary Spaniards in the Philippines of every kind. Rizal exposes corruption and brutality of the civil guards which drive good men to crime and banditry. He focuses on an administration crawling with self-seekers out to make their fortune at the expense of the Filipinos, so that the few officials who are not honest and sincere are unable to overcome the treacherous workings of the system, and their efforts to help the country often end up in frustration or in self-ruin. Nolimitang had exposed of corrupt friars who have made the Catholic religion an instrument for enriching and perpetuating themselves in power by seeking to mar ignorant Filipinos in fanaticism and superstition. Instead of teaching Filipinos through Catholicism, they control the government by opposing all progress and persecuting members of the Ilustrado unless they make themselves their civil flatterers. Rizal nevertheless balances the national portrait by highlighting the virtues and good qualities of his unspoiled countrymen. The modesty and devotion of the Filipino, the unstinted hospitality of the Filipino family, and the devotion of parents to their children, and assert himself as the equal of Spaniard, yet insists on the need of education of the country, and absorbing aspects of foreign cultures that would enhance the native traditions. In the afflictions to the Plagdam, Rizal paints a harrowing pictures of his beloved but suffering country in a work that speaks eloquently not just to Filipinos but all who have endured or witnessed oppression. While in El Filibusterismo, Simon, a jeweler, he is the new identity of Crisostomo Ibarra who in the prequel Noli escaped from pursuing soldiers. It is revealed that Crisostomo dug up his buried treasure and fled to Cuba, becoming richer and befriending Spanish officials. After a long time of illness brought about the bitter loss of Maria Clara, Simon perfects his plan to overthrow the government on the occasion of the wedding of Paulita Gomez and Juanito Pelaez. He gives a wedding gift to them, a beautiful lamp. Only he and his confidential associates Basilio, Caesar's son who joined the revolutionary cause, know that when the wick of his lamp burns lower than nitroglycerin, hidden in its secret compartment will explode, destroying the house where the wedding feast is going to be held killing all the guests, including the Governor General, the friars, and the government officials. Simultaneously, all the government buildings in Manila will be blown with Simon's followers. Upon hearing the horrible secret of the lamp, Isagani realizes that his beloved Paulita is in grave danger. To save her life, he rushes into the house, seizes the lighted lamp, and hurls into the river where it explodes. The revolutionary plot is thus discovered. Simon is cornered by the soldiers, but he escapes, mortally wounded and carrying his treasure chest. He seeks refuge in the home of Padre Florentino by the sea, and the Spanish authorities, however, learns of his presence in the house of Padre Florentino. Lieutenant Perez of the Guardia Civil informs the priest by letter that he will come at 8 o'clock that night to arrest Simon. Simon eludes arrest by taking poison. As he is dying, he confesses to Padre Florentino, revealing his true identity and his dastardly plan to use his wealth to avenge himself in his sinister aim to destroy his friends and enemies. The confession of dying Simon is long and painful. It is already night when Padre Florentino, wiping the sweat from his wrinkled brow, rises and begins to meditate. He consoles the dying man, saying, God will forgive you, Senor Simon. He knows that we are fallible. He has seen that you have suffered in ordering that the chastisement for your faults should come as that from the very ones you have instigated to crack. We can see his infinite mercy. He has frustrated your plans one by one and the best conceived, first by the death of Maria Clara and then by a lack of preparation, then in some mysterious way, let us bow to his will and render him thanks. Watching Simon die peacefully with a clear conscience and at peace with God, Padre Florentino falls upon his knees and prays for the dead jeweler. The priest then takes the treasure chest and throws it into the sea. The differences of Noli Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Noli Tangere and El Filibusterismo are the two marked novels of our national hero Dr. Jose Rizal, which are similar and different in some ways. The two novels are similar primarily in the author, Rizal, another in a way that they both talk about the Spaniards' abuse the Filipinos, the abuse of the church of their power and the discrimination on Filipinos. Both Noli and Alfili show strong anti-clerical and even anti-Catholic color. They convey one story because that latter is published in a sequel or continuation. However, they are different in many cases. Firstly, Noli Me Tangere, Latin title meaning Touch Me Not, refers to the letter of John 20, verse 17 in King James Version of the Bible as Mary Magdalene tried to touch the newly risen Jesus. He said, Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. Meanwhile, El Filibusterismo is a Spanish title which is known in English as The Reign of Greed. Noli is a love story or a romantic novel dedicated to our motherland, while Alfili is a political novel associated with revenge and anger and is dedicated to Gumbalza. The first is more in action and motion, the latter is thoughtful, discursive, and dialectal. Noli showed as soft-spoken, patient, compassionate, and idealistic Chrysostom Ibarra, while El Fili featured a different Ibarra who portrayed the angry, vengeful side of him and disguised himself as the wealthy jeweler named Simon. Noli is written in the idea that would expose the ills of the Philippine society after Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. In general, Noli is more on the reformist side of Rizal, while Alfili is on his revolutionist. The significant characters of the two novels and their counterparts. First is Sisa. Sisa is a laundry woman who is married to a no-good cockfighting aficionado named Pedro, who from time to time also hurts her physically. She has two sons, Basilio and Crispin. She goes insane when her sons go missing. And Chris Aquino can certainly relate to this character. She's dealt with not good for her men and has done things most people would consider insane. Just like Sisa, she also has two sons. She just has to get a ton, get a little dirty, and get a bad head hairdo for the role. Watching all her massacre and horror flicks, we already know she got what it takes to let out The range screams, if we're going to splurge on a big showbiz name for this flick, we might as well spend it on her because she sells. Second significant character is Crisostomo Ibarra. Crisostomo Ibarra is the son of Don Rafael Ibarra, a man larger than life in the town of San Diego but who gets into trouble because questions the church practices. So Padre Damaso makes his life miserable, and Don Rafael dies before Crisostomo can come home from Europe. Alas, the Crisostomo Ibarra Maria Clara love story does not have a happy ending. His counterpart is Noynoy Aquino. President Noynoy Aquino is the son of a man whose life was made miserable when he dared to question the establishment. Chances are he can relate to the character, however, he might have to undergo acting workshops or speech sessions to improve the way he delivers his lines. Moreover, it looks like the Noynoy Aquino Shalahani Soledad love story isn't going to have a happy ending. The third one is Maria Clara. Maria Clara is the sweetheart of Crisostomo Ibarra, the hero of Noli Tangere. She is the daughter of Pia Alba, though she thinks that Don Santiago de los Santos or Capitan Tiago is her father. Her real progenitor is actually Padre Damaso, though Maria Clara is portrayed as silent and passive character. One has to admire her tenacity when it came to finding out the truth about her mother being raped by the friar. Just like Maria Clara, Shalani Soledad is an expert at saying it best by saying nothing at all. She also has complicated relationship with her own father as she candidly revealed in an interview with Chris Aquino. Huwalay kasi sila ng mami ko. Since I was small, hiwalay na sila. There was really no relationship with my father, but yes, I know him kasi magkaaway sila ng mami ko. And the last one is Padre Damaso. Padre Damaso is a hypocritical priest who is totally against encouraging critical thinking. He promotes the church doctrines even as he continues to be cruel to the people around him. And hey, let's not forget to rape Maria Clara's mom. And his counterpart is Carlos Celdran. It wasn't just Spot, PH Blogger and TV's Sapul host Lord De Vera who pointed out that Carlos Celdran could be cast as the Spanish friar. The Philippine Daily Inquirer columnist Michael Tan likewise observed there was a bit of irony to all this because Celdran put on a dark overcoat for his cathedral keeper, intending to portray Jose Rizal, but after he was arrested, the newspapers and had field day showing him behind bars. I think the photograph's impact was stronger because what I and many others saw was not Rizal in a detention but a Spanish friar Padre Damaso. No less, we are pretty sure Sultan can pull off his role. It's highly likely he knows the character symbolizes his enemies well enough. I shall die without seeing the dawn break upon my homeland. You, shall see it, I salute it. Do not forget those who have fallen during the night. Quite the contrary. Even if my country does seem to have forgotten me, I have always thought about it. Mahal ko ang aking bayan, pagkat utang ko rito at magiging utang ko pa rin ang aking kaligayahan. The lesson we can learn from Noli Tangere is it aims at enlightening the society and at bringing the Filipinos closer to the truth. In this novel, the society is urged to open its eyes to reality and rebel against the Spanish government for its oppression and abuse. Jose Rizal's Noli Tangere tell us that we should reflect on our actions and beliefs for our country. The theme of the novel is to promote nationalism and to accept change in ourselves. It still applies to us today. The readers get acquainted with the social forces which opposes each other, thus preventing the realization of Rizal's aspiration for the Filipinos to regain their human rights, especially human dignity. Justice and freedom. It opened the eyes of the Filipino people reality. Nolimitang Here is the first novel written by Filipino patriot and national hero Dr. Jose P. Rizal in 1887 and published in Germany. The storylines goes detailed with the society of the Philippines during Spanish colonial period and features aristocracy. While in El Filibusterismo, the moral lesson of the story is vengeance is not for man to undertake. Every action has its own consequences. Though Dr. Jose Rizal claims that he had written his second novel El Filibusterismo not to express vengeance against his enemies but for the sake of his fellow Filipinos. Readers would certainly agree that his seal won its since he is giving Filipino readers an understanding of what they need to understand and things that they need to know from the past. The mere fact that he had dedicated this book to the three priests Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora, then it must mean something. And related to the novel, why would Rizal change the name of Chrysostom Ibarra to Simon if he did not want to revenge? Obviously, the transformation from a fine young man Ibarra to a bolder and fierce Simon is a sign that something must happen and that somebody must make it happen. The boldness of Simon characters in terms of his intentions in putting up his firearms and ammunition to a public place such as the house of Quiroga might insinuate that he is partly threatening the friars since they are consistently visiting the place and eventually will learn about his plan. In the end, everybody will receive a dose of their own actions.